a soft and subtle journey into the seen and unseen. A call out from the most tender and authentic part of who we are. The most ancient transformational tool, uncovering how the body speaks when the mind silences. I'm so grateful to have Yana S. Tarman, my dear friend, a psychosomatic and quantum hypnosis practitioner, on the episode as we explore the witch wound, the inner child, psychosomatics, and quantum healing hypnosis. I invite you to open your heart, your ears, and your mind. Find a cozy space and enjoy. I'm so excited to have my lovely friend Yana on the episode today. We've been friends for like 3 years now, along our journey of exploring and expanding and growing. We met each other in our quantum hypnosis course 3 years ago, and Yana was my first partner when we were doing hypnosis together. Wasn't that right, Yana?
Yes, that's how we met, and it was definitely something that we both were exploring at the same time. You know, giving someone a quantum hypnosis session, it's quite a transformational experience. It's like you have to be present, you have to be there for them, sensitive, and in this past few years, I think both of us went through so much transformation, working with each other in this modality, but also discovering some other ways to connect to inner wisdom.
Yeah. I remember our very first session, you held such a safe and trusting space. And I remember, because if you have any kind of controlling tendencies like I did, hopefully I can say did now, you have some resistance of letting go, because you like to control situations. And it took me a while to allow myself to let go. But I remember you holding such soft space, really helped me let go.
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. And thank you for your trust.
Yes, hopefully down the line we'll be able to share with our listeners some of your sessions. Maybe down the future, we'll see.
I'm open to it. I think it's a great way to share what we learn.
And so you wanted to ask me a few questions regarding the witch wound episode I released a few days ago. Is that right?
Yes. So I think it's amazing timing to talk about it right now, to find out in this conversation between us, and also like diving more into what we can find in the session, but also from other people experiences, like what we learn culturally about which one and what it is. So I'm really grateful for you willing to share, how you feel about it. So go ahead. Like, what is witch wound for you?
Well, because it's Halloween, I felt it was a suitable time to bring it up. But really, it can be related to, I suppose, unhealed scars or self-worth issues, or being afraid to be seen, or any kind of fear of being judged, any kind of things that might self-sabotage you could be associated with the witch wound. And the witch wound was termed the witch wound because a long time ago, people who, or especially women, who had kind of healing abilities, that were able to tap into the higher frequencies, were worked along with the earth, were crucified and hunted down. And that was when the turn of the patriarchal society started. So that's where it originates from. And therefore, down the centuries, it was kind of carried down, that kind of wound, afraid to be seen, hiding your gifts. And it's something that I think originates in a lot of people, whether they associate it as a witch wound or if it's an ancestral fear of being seen or being heard or showing up.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
And it seems like you deeply relate to the subject, because at some point you realize that's what's going on for you. Like, we can, like, especially in a younger age, growing up, it presents itself as fear. It's just
Mhm.
you're being terrified of something, you don't know why. And only later in age, you are able to tap into it deeply, on a deeper emotional level. So, and I know we talked about it, through the sessions, through different topics that we discussed, but what is it for you in terms of, like, is it ancestral, or is it related to the past lives? Is it something in our DNA?
Mhm. That's a
How do
good
you
question.
see it?
Yeah. I think it can be a mixture of all of them or either of
Mhm.
them. So, in terms of ancestral lines, with the turning of that era, there was a lot of suffering. And I always try to look at these things without judgment and just awareness,
Mhm.
without blame, because then we kind of fall into a victim mindset. And it was a horrible time. There was a lot of suffering. So, we do have empathy. But the turning from the matriarchal era to the patriarchal era, there was a lot of suffering. So, in that sense, it could be a generational thing, ancestral thing, DNA. It's in our DNA. But
Mhm.
for me, I think I think when everybody comes into this world, they have their life homework to do.
Yes, I know what you mean. Can you expand on that?
So when I was born, my parents were very young, and I was like a surprise pregnancy. And
Yes.
it was on the table whether to keep me or give me up for adoption. And
Mhm.
that was nobody's fault, nobody's to blame, but that came from a society, a kind of an old school Catholic based society in a village in the countryside of Ireland, so there was that old school mentality there, and it was 40 years ago. So unless you're married and, established, it would have been frowned upon if you had fallen pregnant
Mhm.
before marriage and everything else. So that's probably one of the reasons. So when obviously that kind of energy affected me, I think. So there was a feeling of rejection or abandonment that I came into the world with. No judgment, just observation. And I
Yeah.
feel that that fear of being seen or wondering if I'll be accepted kind of lingered in my life throughout my whole life. And I suppose throughout years, I kind of covered it with alcohol, or I suppose used different substances, especially alcohol, to give myself confidence and all the rest. And then I discovered after giving up alcohol that there were things there that I needed to work on. And that's when I
Yeah.
discovered the witch wound.
Right. Well, I just wanted to go back a little bit. Tell me what happened in your early childhood. Like, your parents kept you, right? So you grew up with your parents in the house, and you didn't know about this story until later, probably, right? So when you were talking about just energetically tapping into something is off, like, do they want me? Do they really want me here? Right? So it was like not coming from you knowing the whole situation, right? It was a position of a child who feels something, right? Do you remember it well?
Well, what happened was I was told a story. Like my
Okay.
parents didn't hide it or anything. They used to always,
Okay.
as you talk about growing up. And I remember
Mhm.
when we found out we were pregnant, and the usual stories that your parents tell you.
Yeah.
That's how, but I never really thought anything of it. I didn't
Mhm.
attach any emotion to it at that time. I just like listening to their stories of them growing up, and their stories of when we were babies as well. But then when I stopped drinking alcohol, emotions started to bubble up. So I kind of went deeper and on the search of
How old were you?
when I went on the healing journey.
Yeah.
I gave up alcohol about I think I started about 5 years ago. Yes, about 4 or 5 years ago.
So it must have been a really intense 5 years for you.
It was, because these emotions were here of like me feeling abandoned and rejected. And I was like, where does this come from? I love my family. Like, we don't have any, there's nothing there. So I was like, where did that come from? And it may not even have been, like, it could have been a generational thing. It could have come down the ancestral lines, who knows? But that was my own self-analysis anyway.
Yeah. I think I just noticed your cat Salem behind you, right?
She snuggles into my back when I'm working and
I can see her.
Say hi, Salem.
Well, Salem might know something about witch wound as well.
Yeah, you never know.
With us. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing about this. I didn't know those facts about your family. So you mentioned something about a victim mentality, or seeing it as a victim, like, I have this wound, that trauma happened to me, maybe not this lifetime, maybe it's my ancestors or me in other lifetimes, but I feel it very deeply, it affects my life. So if we would look at witch wound and try to speak about it in different terms, what would it be for you? Like, if we step away from the wound, from trauma, what is it in the core of how you see it and where you're coming from when you help people to work with their own experience?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Taking the weight off the word wound and kind of reframing it into a lighter term, like in a more powered term. Maybe it could be life homework. Or
yes.
On an unhealed scar. Yeah, or just I think life homework, because everybody comes into this world with something to work on, whether they're aware or unaware of it.
And in the end of this work, what do you get as a reward? I think it's something that makes you wiser. A life lesson that takes you where exactly? Like, what is the other end of the witch wound? Like, where do we get through working with it?
That's a good question too. Well, definitely a wisening tool. A strength that you definitely become stronger, wiser. You probably you get to be in a position that maybe your ancestors weren't able to do. I know that these days we have a lot more tools and information, and we're remembering our capabilities to heal things that our ancestors weren't able to. So
exactly.
Maybe on a DNA level, an energetic level, that's...
I wonder if you relate in any way to generational work in any way. Like, how would anyone identify a witch wound, that experience or this lesson they came into? How do they know that's what it is? Like, how did you do it for yourself? How did you know it was something you
that's actually a really good question as well, because it all comes down to our emotions and our triggers. And I think our emotions are like our inner compass.
I agree.
How are we feeling at any moment? What triggers make us feel what way? And to kind of journal that down and guide yourself through it through meditation or through a therapist, hypnosis. We both know how powerful hypnosis is in discovering those things that we're unaware of.
Yeah. When I think about witch wound, and do I find something that is that it's there, unidentified, but it's still very, very deeply present, emotionally present, but not identified. I think about the things that might be haunting me, like this deep ancestral feeling of not being allowed to be who you truly are, like letting your light be seen, help people in a way that is healing for you as well. So no healer comes here just to help others. It's like sometimes, most of the time, it's not even our job to heal others, but to show them the direction, right? So they can do that healing work for themselves. So only those who have this deeper knowing that something prevents them from doing their magic, right? Can you speak on that if you do feel like it's something that resonates?
Yeah. Are you asking how someone would identify or be able to identify what it is that's blocking them in kind of living their full potential and using their gifts?
Right. Yeah, maybe with your own perspective, like how did you see that's what it is?
It's not really easy, to be honest.
No, it's not.
It's definitely a mixture.
It stops a lot of people from digging in. It's like, it's terrifying, it's dark. But ultimately it's about light, right? It's about sharing the light. It's about seeing your own light there.
But you have to go through the darkness.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to go deep down into the bowels of the darkness and go, searching. It depends. You don't have to, nobody has to do anything, but if you want to get to the bottom of what it is that's blocking you, it's what I did was I just went on a search for where it stemmed from through journaling, emotion release, just being aware of my emotions and what triggered what emotions. And when, for example, an emotion of fear showed up, or being afraid to make a video and put it on YouTube, I just kind of sit down and have a chat with that fear. I'm like, where are you coming from? Like personify it and ask what it wants to tell me. Bring it from the darkness up into the light. No, it's okay. You can bring out your fear. I'm not going to push it down. It's a part of me. It's like integrated in me. So it kind of takes the weight off it that way.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Let's see if you have a good example that you can share right now that would give this perspective at a certain angle that I can relate to, or somebody who has not done any of this work. Like, emotional release sounds interesting, but how do you do that on your own? And how do you know it's something that comes from somewhere else, like far away? Maybe it's your own emotion, your own scare of something, your inner critic or imposter syndrome. That is something that everyone has. And how do you distinguish that with a witch wound?
They're very, very similar. I think they're all under the same umbrella. But for example, just say, I'll give you the example of when I started putting videos of myself online, and it was terrifying. I even feel sick thinking about it now, because it's like that feeling in your stomach area, that fear. It's kind of in there. It's like a sicky feeling of being seen. And it's something, I suppose, that it's good to acknowledge. It's good to ask what that feeling is about, journal it down, explore, and then maybe try to go deeper into the roots. Maybe if you need to do it on your own, I probably recommended journaling as much as you can, finding out information, what happened throughout your life, from the day you were born, maybe before you were born, all the way up through school, different scenarios.
Yeah, so here when you work with people on this, do you give them prompts? Like, do you have a prompts for journaling that helps step by step going deeper into it? And my other question would be, what's deeper? Is it a fear of prosecution? Because basically, if we did experience something like a witch hunt, people were killed, tortured, and basically it ended their life in a not a very gentle way, and it's a very traumatic way. It's not just prosecution, but it's also physical trauma and death. Right? So how do we know what is what? So through this journaling prompts, can you get there?
Well, you can get there, yes, by starting off with the emotion that you feel. What I usually advise is to start off with the emotion, how you're feeling, the scenario that you're in, what triggers there are that has brought this emotion. And then I usually advise to ask the emotion where it came from. Where did it came from? How long has it been here? Has it been something that's been around for a long time? Has it just shown up? Is it as something, that repeating pattern throughout your family, throughout your life? And just to self-explore is the first main thing, I reckon.
And then to be seen in your self-exploration, I think it's very important. So finding someone who can hold the space for you to explore it. So I think ultimate, tell me if you agree with it, but I think ultimate healing from a wound of any kind is regaining the safety in your body, safety of being yourself. So feel free to talk about it. Like, I think, when we set a goal to work on something, especially some traumatic or deeply emotional stuff, we need to set ourselves a goal somewhere that is so bright, so warming and welcoming. We know that in the end of this process is something deeply rewarding, not feeling terrified anymore, not feeling like hunted or not allowed to be our magical selves. Right?
Exactly. And it's a journey as well. And through hypnosis, through therapy, depending on the person and what they're more interested in, is probably the safest space to do that. You're not into doing it alone.
I agree with you. Yeah. Can you tell me more about this process through quantum healing hypnosis?
Yeah. So, like you said, it's good to have an objective if you're aware of what the objective is. Some people don't really understand what it is they want to heal, but they know that they might need healing, but they can't put words onto it. So the exploration probably would be the first step. And then with the intention, finding a quantum healing hypnosis therapist that you're comfortable with. And I suppose allowing your higher self to come through and your guides for your highest and best good to see what needs to come up, I suppose, through this.
Yeah, I like the sound of it. I totally agree. Have you ever received messages from your higher self that helped you with witch wound or any kind of experience that we talk about today? What did your higher self say?
It kind of guided I don't know if it's he or she, but I was guided to explore inner child.
Yeah.
I was guided through my higher self and my team, I suppose, to explore inner child and comforting the inner child, holding a safe space.
Mhm.
I suppose just inner child work, telling her that
Mhm.
it's okay, you're accepted, you're not rejected. It's something
Mhm.
that I suppose it's just putting yourself in that 5-year-old self or 2-year-old self or 7-year-old self.
Yeah. When I think about when we travel back and connect with our inner child,
Mm-hmm.
um, me as a somatic therapist, somebody who works with the way our body holds the emotion, I find that by symptoms in your body, you
Mm-hmm.
can tell what's up, right? So how did you feel as a child when you were in certain situations? Did you develop some kind of adaptive behavior, or did you try to make yourself seem small? Like, we make ourselves feel smaller rather than bigger when there is this feeling that there is a suppression. Somebody doesn't want us to speak or
Mm-hmm.
behave or be expressive, so we make ourselves small.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you think? How
That's
is it manifest in the body?
that's a good question. It's really interesting. It's the topic of somatics.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely relate to growing up with making myself feel small up until like my 30s. And allowing other people around me, praising them more than me, that
Yeah,
kind of suppressed feeling.
maybe
Just
people pleasing, right? It's like, I do everything I can
Mhm,
to make you be happy with me. Like, I'm gonna make myself feel small,
mhm,
but you're gonna feel good,
mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
I think it's all very related.
Mhm.
Um,
Can I ask a question about somatics?
sure, yeah, let's dive into it.
Related to the parts of the body, I
Mm-hmm.
imagine that you referred to, I suppose, energy or different traumas being stored in the body.
Yeah.
Is there certain parts of the body for each kind of emotion or trauma?
That's a really good question, and I would love to talk about it, because if you look into traditional systems of
Mhm,
working with body, like um, traditional Chinese medicine, Oriental studies, they quite often tell you this meridian is associated with this energy, with this organ system, and this emotion, which quite often is true, you know. And practitioners are using certain charts, like, hey, we're working with the grief, so let's look into this meridian and use this acupuncture points to release that emotion and help person to feel less stagnation in the body. So I think, making ourselves smaller is related to stagnation, as opposed to expansive, making ourselves expand in expression and be who we are. So that is the opposite. That's what we learn as a kids, to be small, to contract, to not let things go with the flow,
mhm,
like expressive thinking. What I find is really inspiring for me, and I'm hoping also to see if it's an approach that finds resonance in others, is to find what's true to you only. Like, I'm not going to relate to a chart to see where the grief lives.
mhm,
I don't want to do that. I mean, I can refer and then ask my higher self, or if I'm working with a client, I use certain techniques to find where is this emotion stored in the body precisely for them. How can they connect to it and identify exactly where it is and in which way it's safe to release, right? And
mhm.
we can ask a very simple question. So where do you feel it in your body?
Mhm.
Can you allow yourself to feel it?
Mhm.
And the answer could be no.
Mhm.
It's not the time to feel it. There are way more on top of that, many more superficial layers that have to be seen first, right? So going little by little, small steps, and releasing through the way your body wants to release. I love acupuncture, I love Chinese medicine, and I have experienced profound releases through acupuncture. For example, anger, liver, right? So, liver meridian acupressure or acupuncture points can stimulate a release.
Mhm.
You felt like so much tension in your body, then you feel like it's getting worse, like there's way more tension. And then the way you feel after the session makes you realize that's what I've been dealing with the whole time.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think it's a process of inquiry. Inquiring, the body knows.
Mhm.
The body knows what's up.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, when we're trying to approach emotions through mental, like our mind activity, it's not exactly the way I see things should be going with a holistic approach.
Mhm.
Like if we're talking about emotions stored in a body, let's speak the language of the body, right? And go from there.
Mhm. Yeah, it's so interesting. Our body has so much wisdom if we're able to tap into it and have the space to listen to it. I'm sure, like it's like
And you know what? It's exactly what witches was telling us,
yeah.
right? It's exactly the medicine of spell, not the spells, but how they worked like centuries ago.
Mhm.
They worked with the body, with the language of the body, with herbs. And, I'll let you speak about it. Like, how do you see how what you just said, it's actually exactly about the work of the witch.
Mhm. Definitely. Definitely. And not only witches, but earth people and shaman
Yeah.
guides, and anybody who works with herbs, like you said, and the body, and just knowing that the body has all the answers. When we work
Hmm.
with it closely, we can find all the answers to all the healings that we need.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That reminds me, remember our first session, and I was guiding you to where you wanted to see more, like your intention was to know who I am
Mhm.
and where my blocks are. That's what you wrote as intention for the session, right? So, and tell me about your experience with looking into those blockages and why was it hard for you. So you did experience certain like somatic symptoms, like
Yeah.
something was happening with your body, but you actually had to stop the session because your body didn't want to go any
Yeah.
further, right? Tell me about that. I think it's related to that self-sabotage and also like blockages as something that manifests.
Mhm. I think it was a mixture of me being blocked around my crown chakra, just
Mm-hmm.
not being connected to my higher self and wisdom and the higher frequencies. And that was trying to unblock with a mixture of kind of self control. I kind of wasn't able to let myself go. So I was getting frustrated. And I remember getting these massive headaches. Remember
Yeah.
in my head, they were
Mhm.
really hard. I had to even stop the session.
Yeah.
And I was trying to breathe the pain, how would I say, diminish the pain and
Mhm.
just release the pain through breaths. So I just kind of had to let that go. And it took a few sessions for those blockages to be released, didn't it?
I'm really curious about the dynamic with the headaches. Like, um, if you do remember what happened with subsequent sessions, and maybe, for whoever is listening and they are thinking about trying out the quantum hypnosis, we have to be honest. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
The body, if it stores so much of the blocking or self-sabotaging, not going to see what's there,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be unpleasant. You might experience tightening in chest, headaches. Opening your heart could be painful. It's like crack opening your chest to release and to open your heart. So if we speak about steps, like when you experience sessions after that first session with me, where did you find the improvement, the dynamic that allowed you to really enjoy the session like you do now?
Mm-hmm. I think working on energy centers
Mm-hmm.
on a daily basis in like a practice, cleansing and purifying our energy centers and chakras. If you're somebody who doesn't associate with chakras, I think just breathing through your organs or your body, breathing through with the intention of releasing stagnant energy and with the intention of surrendering and allowing anything that needs to be released to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we hold on to things that we don't necessarily need to because it's making us feel safe, but it's
Yes.
like a false sense of safety.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
What's your favorite energy practice? Like, how do you work on those energy centers?
Well, right now at the moment, because I was surprised when you said earlier before humming, I hum every day in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really like you, at the end of it, you're vibrating at a much higher level. So, like
Yes.
a real deep hum around for your
Mm-hmm.
lower energy center, moving
Mm-hmm.
up. You can play around with it, like wherever it feels good or wherever you feel like staying, your body will tell you where to stay.
Yes.
And moving all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. And it's kind of funny as well because your voice goes a little bit cracky and
Yeah.
if you're not the best singer, you it's going to be funny.
Yes, I hear you. And while listening to you sharing about the humming, um, this is something that I discovered just a few days ago. And I do channeling. So
Mm-hmm.
I channel my higher self. I channel higher dimensional aspects of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
As a message that helps me exactly with those little steps. Sometimes we agree with intention. Yeah, let's work on healing. Let's work on expanding. But how do we do that? As someone who is in the beginning of the awakening of working with the body, you don't know the steps. You don't know what to do. And everything that is vague about what exactly do you do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you start humming? It's terrifying for someone who is not a singer, who's someone who is not a public speaker,
Mm-hmm.
to hear your own voice,
Mm-hmm.
not in a regular capacity like speaking words, but humming or singing can be very intimidating. It's like you try a few times and then you're discouraged by lack of result. Like nothing happened. I only got more tense because I
Yeah.
tried this like specific breathing or somatic techniques or humming. The emotional release technique that I practice employs the voice, full, deep belly breath and full voice. And to get there, you actually have to practice a lot because when you first start, your voice is cracking. It's like it's so weak and it doesn't do anything. It's only tense, making more tense.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was shown is to start with very little, tiny hum deep in your belly. So you don't have to sound good in the beginning. You don't have to like even perform. Like you don't have to look into perfection of your performance, even if you're only one in a room.
Mm-hmm.
So learning how to do intentional
Mm-hmm.
diaphragmatic breathing. It sounds all fancy, but all it is you expanding your belly instead of your ribs. So your belly gets softer, and you can even place your hands on your lower belly and just feel how your belly expands and gets softer. The breath slows down. A longer inhale and even more longer exhales, pausing in between, and then adding tiny little hum just very deep in your belly. And it may not sound like much, it's just a deeper vibration. And each time you exhale with a hum or sound of your voice, you give yourself positive feedback. You can say, good job, it's actually felt good. So instead of this negative self-talk, which comes from self-critic, which comes from witch wound, we all kind of can see that progression, like how we got here. We sabotage even our own breath, so essential, but we sabotage even there by shallow breathing all the time. So each time the breath felt good, say it felt good. Relax your body even more. Relax each part of your body and expand into your knees, into your feet, into your arms. So let it kind of like each hum and each sound on the exhale vibrate through your body, so you feel actual expansion. You're not as contracted and tight anymore in your shoulders. And I practiced that as I was shown at the same time, and I ended up with a loud humming sound on each exhale that was lasting 3 times longer than what I initially started with. It took me probably about 5 minutes to get there. So this is something very simple that you can start, like anyone can start with, just using your own breath and voice with positive feedback, encouraging yourself to continue. See how much you can expand, how much softer you can get. And by the end, you are actually enjoying it. Joy, it's ultimate goal of it, right? We have to enjoy who we are fully. Like, tell me, how do you see it? How do you see the healing process? And also, when you would work with someone, how do you know they're making a good progress?
Well, what I loved about what you just said there is acknowledging that they're doing something good, like saying something good to yourself on the out breath. And I think that's the very probably first step. Also, that I advise my clients and students is their self-talk. Just being the observer of how we speak to ourselves. Because we don't realize, and it's something that's being carried down through generations as well, that is stemmed from that change from matriarchal to the patriarchal society and the Catholic Church and the religious influence and, shame and self-blame and all of that. It comes from there. So self-analyzing our self-talk with compassion, and if we catch ourselves out, with that self-talk, just say, it's okay. It's okay. I'm doing the best I can with the best I can. And with everything I can, I'm trying my best. Even that little start, I think, is a good start to the self-healing process.
I really like what you said about that shift from the patriarchy. Was there something that comes to your mind when you speak about it? Like, I've never been to Ireland. My image of Ireland is coming from literature and movies and music. I love Irish music, Celtic music in general. It's really, joyful. I love even like sad, melancholic songs. They all feed into some kind of deep knowing. It's like, I've been there. So for someone who's never been there, when you mentioned Catholic countryside village, what was it like for you? And when you look back into the time in your life, which part of the lesson was it? If it makes sense, it's like all of this is a lesson, as you said, right? So that was in the very beginning. Why was it important for you to be there in Ireland, in that family, in that kind of lesson?
That's a really good question. Why was it there? Because I live in Spain now.
Yes. That was your choice to come to Spain and stay there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was a part of, I suppose, my life homework to grow up in Ireland. And I suppose Ireland itself is changing now. But I think there used to be a big Catholic influence, a religious influence.
Yeah.
Because you can notice it in society. People are a little bit embarrassed or shameful of being seen or about what people would think. That's still very important in society. And I think that definitely comes from the Catholic Church, and which stems from the witch wound, really.
Yeah.
Yes. But nowadays, I suppose it's kind of fading out. People are working on themselves. And because of the change of the era, we're changing into another matriarchal, unified unity consciousness. So
how do we feel it in our bodies? What's your take on how do we feel the change in the world towards that deeply feminine energy being accepted in our bodies? What changed for us in terms of how we feel in our bodies?
It's safer.
Yes, love that. Yes, it's safer to feel in your body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel my heart open
out, right? It's like we are recording this, speaking about all of this without any hesitation. Like, it's probably my first appearance on YouTube.
I'm so proud of you.
Experience, yeah, and it's opening my voice, right? It's still, for me, it's a big step.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate it, and I really like the way you speak about the change on your podcast. You bring so many different aspects of this shift. So I hope you don't stop. Just keep doing your amazing work on inviting people to speak about it, shine a light on all aspects of it, and really acknowledge that's what's happening. We can embrace it, accept it, integrate that deep feminine wisdom.
Yeah, and sacred masculine as well. I feel that we have
that. I love to hear about it.
We have both, and all both men and women have both.
Yeah.
You know, so I suppose it's about analyzing and integrating both, because it's balance really at the end of the day. Have you had any experiences of working and balancing on your masculine and feminine?
I think just recently, in a recent couple of years, and especially this year, working with my partner, who has actually a very strong feminine side, and I do have very strong masculine side to me. I, like, almost 3 years ago when we met, I was in my controlling masculine side, which was selling one house, buying a different house, establishing a little farm. I was muscling it. I was like engine of change, and I needed to be in control. And what I was hoping from him to be kind of like a supportive partner who would help me manifest it, which he was 100%. And it was feminine of him to do that, right? So it's like, I support you in your vision. So we shifted those roles since then, and now he's stepping in his sacred masculine role. He's looking into what he is here to do. He is making bold moves in his mission, what he is doing for his family, for me. And I'm finding myself more relaxed, more feminine, and patient. I don't need to control. There is a flow to things, and I'm not trying to control anything. I feel supported, but in a different way, like from the feminine side more. So as we balance, it actually creates a really nice dynamic in the relationship. You know, when people can expand into things and not being afraid to sound too harsh or overstepping the boundaries.
I love that.
We don't have to speak about boundaries. At some point, it was very important to speak about boundaries, and it was popular, right? All the boundary talk. But boundary only needed if we need to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we're talking about witch wound as a fear, as a protection, we're in danger. We're being hunted and prosecuted. So when we expand into the safety in the body, safe who we are, we no longer need boundaries in a way, right? Because it's clearly communicated through who we are.
Yeah.
If there is a lower kind of vibration that we don't resonate with, normally we would say, here's my boundary. You cannot treat me like that, or I'm not into that. Later, when we are embracing what we're doing with this like expansion and awareness, it's no longer going to be needed, right? Because who I am is vibrating on a certain level that just obvious to others around you. What do you think?
Totally. I very similar to your story as well. I used to be very much in my masculine energy, very controlling, but not well, I thought it wasn't in an overpowering way, but maybe other people's perspectives would be different. Kind of controlling about my life, how it would go, you
had big decisions too. A couple of years ago, you had huge decisions to make, so it would totally justify it to be there.
And I suppose you have to kind of step into your masculine when you do need to make big decisions, but it's a balance. And I've kind of flowed into the feminine side and got into a space of allowing and surrender and just allowing, I think. And that's kind of, it's kind of evidence that we're moving into this new era, because it's in my life, it's in your life, it's in our friends' circles' lives, where people are kind of stepping into that space of allowing, care, and
I love that.
So if anybody wanted to find you, Yana, can you confirm your way of being contacted? If anybody wanted to,
thank you for asking. I just recently started the process of changing my name. My name is Yana Sahi Tarman, and you can find me on Instagram at Yana S Tarman. I'm currently working on my website and going to be offering all kind of embodiment and psychosomatic practices later this year. So I'm hoping to be back to talk to you about it, and we can expand more into how can we incorporate little steps into each day, more body awareness, more spiritual awareness in little steps. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it doesn't have to be big investment. It's something that we do with our body, for our body, So that's what I do at the moment. And I wanted to see what's your, how do you work with people, and just precisely on what we talked about today, your vision for the work.
Well, it depends on the person and what they're looking to heal, but if somebody is a little bit unsure of where to start, a consultation probably would be the best way to go, to explore what's going on, and then go from there, because different modalities are for, I suppose, depending on the person, quantum healing hypnosis, or a guided mindfulness, or like yourself, I don't do somatics, but you do. I suppose it depends on what the person wants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds great. It sounds great. It sounds really like a promising direction for all of us to take.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Yana. I cannot wait for our next episode.
Yes.
I admire your bravery and courage for coming on today.
It felt really good. It feels really good in my body to be speaking. I really appreciate your support. It feels really warm and relaxing. So thank you.
You're so welcome.